Doug Benton was last seen alive on June 4th, 2000. His neighbors reported him missing nearly 2 weeks later when they noticed his collection of exotic birds appeared neglected. When police checked his home on June 17th, they declared him a missing person. 2 days later, he was found encased in concrete in an animal feeding trough in a remote part of a local farm. But before we get into today's story, if you're a fan of the strange, dark, and mysterious tales from the South, then you come to the right place because that's all I do on YouTube. And my plan is to upload twice a month, once on the first Wednesday, once on the third Wednesday. So if that's of interest to you, make sure you like this video, comment below, subscribe to this channel, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Southern Gothic. Now back to the show. Doug Benton was a bodybuilder and resident of Colbert, Georgia, a small town in the northeast state with a population of 592 residents at the time of the 2010 census. He worked as a welder and sold exotic birds they raised. Considered to be a respectable guy in his community, Doug had an excellent standing with his neighbors and was known for being helpful. Doug's neighbors saw him alive on June 4th, 2000. Doug spent most of his days at home, and none of his neighbors observed anything out of the ordinary. However, days passed since then, but no one had seen Doug Benton after June 4th. At first, his neighbors were concerned, and their worries got worse after seeing his exotic birds, one of his primary ways of making an income, were disregarded and ragged. Noticing this, Doug's neighbors contacted the police, who arrived to find Doug missing on June 17th. Local law enforcement issued a missing person report, and police searched for 2 days but had no luck finding Doug. It seemed like Doug had disappeared until a cattle farm's property manager, Roddy Sternovance, found Doug's body on his boss Robert Postman's property on June 19th. On reaching the site, authorities found an animal feeding trough in a remote part of the farm. The trough was painted in a camouflage pattern, and Doug Benson's body was inside. The body was encased in concrete and covered with shower curtains. The autopsy determined that Doug was shot and stabbed multiple times, with a coup de grace being a headshot wound. In an attempt to rule out relatives, officials questioned Tracy Fortson, the deceased's girlfriend. Tracy, a 35-year-old mother of a teenage daughter, was the first female to become a deputy sheriff in the Oglethorpe County Sheriff Department in Athens, Georgia. However, Tracy had concerns with her male co-workers, causing Tracy to leave the department on bad terms. Tracy didn't believe she was being paid the same as her male counterparts and called out sexual remarks being mentioned at the office. According to Tracy, Doug drove her to leave, with the couple purchasing a tape recorder. Tracy alleged that she wore a wire and recorded the sheriff himself making lewd remarks about her. Tracy filed a sexual harassment case against the former Oglethorpe sheriff after her resignation. Neighbors considered Tracy and Doug's relationship to be abusive at best. Witnesses told the police that the pair often fought and quarreled and even alleged that death threats were thrown around. However, Tracy's mother maintains that her daughter loved Doug greatly, and Tracy denied the rumors of physical altercations. However, with neighbors pointing towards Tracy, investigators turned their attention to her. When questioned, Tracy informed the police that weeks before discovering Doug's body, the two had an argument, which caused Tracy to storm out of Doug's house. They claimed that she never saw Doug again after that day. Determined to figure out what was happening, investigators searched Doug's home, finding bloodstains in the living room. Officials also discovered scented candles had been placed all over the house. In addition, a kerosene smell hinted that someone had attempted to burn down the house. A search of Tracy's house revealed a rifle that could have been fired to issue the fatal bullet, although investigators admitted they could not be sure of this. Also, Doug's truck was left at a friend's house. A note was taped to the windshield informing his friend that Doug would be out of town. Authorities discovered that the note was written in Tracy's handwriting. The tape was a special kind issued to Tracy when she was a sheriff deputy. Moreover, the police found a receipt for a shower curtain bought on June 4th and spray cans that appeared to match the camouflage paint used in the trough. Finally, circumstantial evidence presented itself when law enforcement found cement on the bed of Tracy's truck, which matched the concrete Doug's body was found in. The police were able to locate the man Tracy purchased the trough and cement from. When faced with the evidence, Tracy confessed to buying the trough and cement, but mentioned that they were for her projects, and that someone could have stolen them to hide Doug's body. In addition, Tracy told authorities about a drug dealer threatening her boyfriend's life. However, officers disagreed with her, and Tracy was arrested for the murder. After her arrest, Tracy Fortston claimed that the Oglethorpe County Sheriff's Department was trying to frame her for the murder. Once on trial in July 2001, she pleaded not guilty. However, the jury convicted her on a count of malice murder, 1 count of felony murder, 2 counts of aggravated assault, and 1 count of attempted arson. Her conviction netted her a life sentence for the murder with 20 years for the aggravated assault and 10 years for the attempted arson. The former deputy sheriff appealed her conviction the same year, but her petition was denied. In 2015, as her attorney, Tracy filed a motion for a new trial, the last appeal available. The state Supreme Court decision denied this appeal and was filed on February 8th in Madison County. Fortston is serving her time at the Lee Arundel State Prison in Alto. The killing attracted media attention, and the case was profiled on the TV series Deadly Women, airing in 2015. Fortston maintains her innocence in Doug's killing and argues that law enforcement authorities framed her.